Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. This is my Fish Flingers guide, and I made my loot from 100 hours of rocktails yesterday. So I suggested that I should make a Fish Flingers guide, and a lot of you guys were like, yeah, make one. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make one. So I made one today, and here it is. And on screen here are the sections of the guide that you can click, and it'll bring you to that section of the guide. So there's like requirements and getting started, that kind of thing. If you want to skip, if you already know certain sections, it's good to skip, and this way you can get to the parts that you're struggling with if you need to. Let's go into the first part of the guide. Why even do this minigame in the first place? So there's a few reasons why you would even attempt to do Fish Flingers in the first place. I guess it's not a minigame. I guess I called it a minigame. It's actually a distraction and diversion. It's kind of like demon flash mobs, sinkholes, that kind of thing, where it's on like a time cycle and it resets and stuff. That's what a D&D kind of is, rather than a minigame. So the 4 reasons you would ever do this minigame is because, one, it gives pretty good fishing experience. Like at the high 90s, you get 20k per game usually, and each game is roughly 10 minutes long. So that's pretty good experience if you think about it. So it is good fishing experience, and it's really good fishing experience really early on in the levels as well. Another reason is getting the fishing skilling outfit, which gives you 5% more experience in fishing. It might be 6%, but I think it's 5% after they nerfed it a little bit. I guess not a nerf, but once they patched it a little bit. So that gives you, better fishing outside of the minigame, and it's pretty easy to get from this minigame, and we'll get into that later in the rewards section. And then the other 2 reasons to ever do this minigame is getting the tackle box, which is a really useful item, especially if you're fishing at like rocktails. It does help with banking, and if you're going to use porters anyway, tackle box is still a good item to get because you can consider it a free porter because it teleports your rocktail and you don't have to pay for it. So you can think of it that way. So it is a good item to get. And the last reason you'd ever do this is for trim, because you need to get the last tackle box for a trim requirement. So those were the reasons you would ever do Fish Flingers. Let's move into the requirements part of the guide. Here we go. So for Fish Flingers, there really isn't any requirements. You don't need a fishing level. You don't need any quests. You really don't need anything. The only thing that you need to start is entry tickets. So if you've never done this minigame before, you will have 10 tickets on your account, and you only can get higher than 10 if you collect it through fishing, like on Fishing Shark or Fishing Rocktail or whatever. But if you're below 10, you can collect tickets every day, 2 per day, and you don't just automatically get them. You actually have to go to the fishing people around Runescape, and they give you the 2 tickets. So you got to remember that if you want to do 2 games a day and you're already out of tickets or something, once you're doing this minigame more often, you have to collect them every day after reset. It is kind of stupid, but you just have to. So yeah, that's the requirement for Fish Flingers. You just need entry tickets. Alright, getting started with Fish Flingers. Let me lay down the basics of the minigame. So there's a game every 20 minutes, and each game lasts 10 minutes. Meaning there's a 10-minute lobby time, waiting time, that in that time I will discuss in a few seconds what to do in that time if you're only doing Fish Flingers for a few hours kind of thing. There is one location that is the best for this, and I'm standing here right now. It's the Barbarian Outpost area, and you can see the Fish Flingers guy right there. So that's where you start the game. You teleport through him. But in the 10 minutes waiting time, if you're not already doing something else, a good thing to do in between games is fish, because you're trying to get fishing experience if you're going here, most likely. The best way to do it is go south to the Olaf guy or whatever for the barbarian training, and then you just fish barbarian fishing, and do that for 10 minutes between games, and you'll get a lot of fishing experience per hour, especially if you have a lot of tickets. And that is the best way of getting constant experience throughout this minigame kind of thing. You can also fish at the Catherberry area and just fish shark. It's more AFK, but the barbarian is a lot more experience, so I do recommend that. I'm not going to explain the barbarian fishing. That's for a different day, different video, but it's just an idea if you do want to constantly do this minigame and get a lot of experience. So another thing you need to know before you actually start the minigame is to do this minigame efficiently, you have to use an FC. And I really don't know if there's a lot of FCs out there, but I know there is one big FC out there that I've used. I don't know if they want me to share the name, but screw it. It's 2 Fling Fish. I'll have it on screen. Just join that Beyond World 89, follow their rules. And one of their rules is where you have to say the clue every single run or whatever, or you're going to get kicked. I'll discuss clues in a few seconds, but that's a good way of doing it teams, and they give you the combos for the fish and stuff. I'll get into that later too. But that is like the best way to do it, to get all the medals, all the points, the most tokens per game. Another way is just going with a bunch of friends or a clan that you guys would work together. That's another way of doing it, but obviously the official FCs are the best. And remember, 89, the world 89 is the official world for Fish Flingers, I believe. For the next section of the guide, here are the clues that you need to know throughout the minigame. Or D&D, I guess. You get clues right before the start of the game that like help you with the combos for the fish, which I'll get into. They're called perfect tackles, and you need to do 3, like a combo of like the hook, the bait, and the distance of the line, and that's how you get the 100% fish. And you're going for that because you get heavier fish, and it also gives you more tokens, kind of thing like that. I know me saying all this is a lot of mumbo jumbo to you if you don't ever play the minigame, but you'll understand once you do it a few times, or probably the first time. But you get a clue, and if you're in an FC, you have to say that clue. And in the description, I'll have a Wikia link for all the clues. So if you get a clue and you don't know what they're trying to say, the Wikia has a lot of like translations and stuff like that for the clues and tells you what it is. So if it's like they don't like metal hooks or whatever, it'll be like, you know, bone or wood, and you'll have to say that in the FC. So down on that link, that is really useful, especially if you're soloing as well. And you're just gonna have to get familiar with the actual like hooks and the distances and stuff like that, because when they say it in the FC, they abbreviate things. Just try to get familiar with the abbreviations and stuff, but it goes pretty quick, and this minigame is really fun and relaxing once you get into it. Let's go to the next section of the guide, playing the game itself. So you're in a game, let's say you're in an FC, because I'm using an FC, I'm using 2 fling fish right now. And you basically tell the clue, like I said, and you just wait. You keep on fishing. Try to find your own combo first. Make guesses. Change the ones that you don't know of. Like, you might know that it's bone for sure on the bass or something, but you don't know the bait and you don't know the distance of the line. Just switch the distance of the line first. Find which amount it is, or the bait. Really depends on your preference. And if it goes up in percentage on the catch rate or whatever, then you are getting closer to it, and you can use that as your advantage. So you're just playing the game, and in FC, they tell you like the combos, and that's it. And you start at the dock, then you go to the lake, then the river, and then you go to the beach, and then you just finish the game. So during the minigame, you just, you know, obviously get all your combos and stuff. I already said that, but there's also 2 other things that you should do, even if you're not going for trim, but these do help for trim, and they do help with getting tokens as well. Sometimes you might get a big fish, and it'll tell you in the chat that, oh, you snagged the big fish, and you need to wait for other people to assist you, and then you get the big fish. And I'll discuss what the big fish even does like later in the reward section. And then also, if you see other people have big fish spots and stuff, they're just like little bubbles in the water, and you can just tell. Click the bubble in the water, and you know, you'll assist them. And you need to get 6 assists a game to, like, you know, perfect the game. And big fish, 3 is a max amount for 1 game. You can get more than 3, I believe. It just doesn't help to get more than 3. But assist every game. Hope you get big fish. You get a better chance at big fish if you're at the heavier spot, and also if you have 100% like clue thing. But yeah, that's basically a minigame. You just go around. I would recommend doing the FC method the first time, just so you get used to it, and you should be good after the first time. Like, I don't really need to explain everything to you. Just if you want to do the minigame, here it is. Let's go into the rewards so I can explain more on the big fish and the assists. Alright, so here are the rewards for Fish Flingers, and this is where you get, you know, tokens, medals, kind of thing like that. And I'll also explain the big fish, like what they actually do for you. So first up, tokens. And these are kind of like the currency that you buy, like rewards from the actual rewards shop. And there are 4 ways of getting them, and you can see that the first way is every 4 fish that you catch. That's pretty nice. I usually get around 100 something fish. The second way is every big fish you catch up to 3, so that's pretty nice as well. The third way is every 2 assists that you like assist someone on a big fish. And then the fourth way is every 2 perfect tackles. And perfect tackles are another way of saying perfect combos. Like once you like catch a fish like 100%, you know, success rate or whatever it's called. I kind of explained it earlier. You kind of got it, but the bottom 3 methods of getting tokens, you only can do up to 3 times each throughout the minigame, but, you know, whatever. We'll go to the medals now. So medals are kind of like the achievements that you get for Fish Flingers, and you need 500 medals for trim, so the max you can get per game are 4. You know, that's kind of a problem. You have to do a lot of Fish Flingers to complete the trim requirement, but I think it's worth it. Fish Flingers is pretty AFK, and it's kind of fun for me. But there is also 4 methods of getting medals, and there's, you know, only 4 medals per game max. I usually get around 3 or 4. At least 3, to be honest, and then the 4th one is kind of like an iffy because you never really know if you're going to get it. But the 4 methods, again, are perfect tackle for 3 of the fish. Perfect tackle for all 6 is another medal, so you can get 2 medals right off if you get all the perfect tackles, so that is really easy, 2 medals per game. The one where you can get another easy medal is 6 assists. That's really easy. Just look for bubbles, assist them, and then there you go, you get a medal. The hard medal to get is the big fish, because you really never know if you're going to get 3 big fish, and that's just 1 medal. So it's 3 to 4 per game. 4 is really not uncommon, but it's not super common either, depending on if you get a lot of big fish. So there you go. So the more medals you have, the better tackle boxes you can get. So I'm at the 3rd tackle box, the standard one. I think that's like 100 something medals. Currently I'm at like 180 medals or something. So I'm pretty far away from the trim requirement. I'm not even halfway, but you know, I do fish flingers every now and then. I probably will do it more because it's pretty AFK and stuff like that, so whatever. So the final part of the guide is the experience you get from the minigame, and there's like a table on the Wikia. I'll send the link in the description, so click on that if you want to find the experience that you can get max. Like if you get max experience, that is what you're gonna get at your level. But I usually get around 20k, again, like at 99 or 95 or whatever. I get like 20k per game around there, so it's pretty good. You know, just you're gonna have to work around your level and stuff like that. But that was my Fish Flingers guide. I know it was a lot of talking, but you know, I just like explaining and I ramble a lot. So I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless, and I hope you learned something, and I hope I helped you. That's the whole point of the guide. Good luck, guys, on Fish Flingers, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.